450 tons. Let that number settle in your mind for a moment. Not a building, not a ship, not a bridge. A machine, a single machine built by Caterpillar that weighs 450 metric tons and was engineered to do something no other machine has done in quite the same way. Take a breath, because what you are about to witness is going to change the way you look at engineering, at mining, and at what human beings are capable of building when they decide that the impossible is just the next project on the list. This is the Caterpillar 6040. And once you understand what it does, how it works, why it exists, you will never look at an excavator the same way again. Welcome to the documentary of one of the greatest machines ever built by humankind. Before we talk about what it does, let's talk about what it is. The CAT 6040 is one of the largest hydraulic mining excavators on the planet. Not one of the largest in its segment, one of the largest on the planet. Its operating weight reaches 450 metric tons. For a real comparison, an adult African elephant weighs around 6 tons. That means the CAT 6040 is equivalent to the weight of approximately 75 elephants. 75. But size isn't just visually impressive here. It is functional. The bucket, the part that digs and carries the material, holds over 22 cubic meters in a single bite. 22 cubic meters. That's enough to fill a standard living room in one single scoop. Now imagine that happening over and over every few seconds, for hours, days, weeks, years, without stopping. This machine doesn't dig, it devours. And the most impressive part? Every component of this colossal structure was designed to move with precision. The boom, the massive steel structure that holds the bucket, alone weighs dozens of tons. The hydraulic cylinders that move everything operate at pressures that few industrial systems in the world can match. But raw digging power? Any large machine can do that. What sets the 6040 apart starts right now. Let's talk about the engine. No, the engines. Caterpillar didn't install a single engine in the 6040. They installed two, each one pushing 2,079 horsepower. Combined, over 4,000 horsepower of raw, relentless, unstoppable force. Here's a reference point. A Formula One car, the most sophisticated race machine ever built, produces around 1,000 horsepower. The CAT 6040 runs the equivalent of 4 of them at the same time, all the time, and all of that power isn't wasted. It is channeled directly into the hydraulic system, the operational heart of the machine. The 6040's hydraulic system generates pressures that allow the bucket to penetrate materials that would destroy any conventional excavator. Rocky or dense compacted clay, frozen ground in extreme climate regions, highly abrasive material with extreme hardness. The 6040 has no preference. It chews through everything with the same efficiency. But here's something most people don't think about. Over 4,000 horsepower running continuously generates enormous heat. Heat that, without proper management, would destroy components within hours. Caterpillar solved this with military-grade cooling systems, circuits that keep every component within its ideal operating temperature, regardless of external conditions. Less excess heat, less premature wear, more performance for longer. But force alone doesn't create legends. What creates legends is in the next block. Let's talk about the operator, because the most powerful machine in the world is worthless if the human inside it can't control it with precision. Step inside the cab of the CAT 6040. You won't find old buttons, rusty levers, or confusing panels. You'll find something that feels more like the cockpit of an executive jet than a piece of mining equipment. Touchscreen displays, high-resolution monitors, 360-degree cameras that eliminate blind spots, intelligent sensors monitoring every system in real time. But this isn't aesthetics. Every single one of these elements has a direct operational function. The sensors detect potential issues before they happen. The system alerts the operator to safety risks before those risks become accidents. The displays optimize every bucket movement to maximize productivity per cycle. The result? The operator doesn't just work faster. They work smarter and safer. In an industry where accidents cost lives and shut down entire operations for weeks, a system that prevents rather than repairs is worth more than gold. But there's one number that changes everything for mining companies. Up to 15% less fuel consumption compared to previous generations. 15%. Sounds small? It isn't. In large-scale mining operations, fuel costs can exceed tens of millions of dollars per year. 15% of that is in savings. It's a fortune reinvested. It's competitiveness. It's sustainability. It's the difference between profit and bleeding out. And Caterpillar achieved this without sacrificing a single percentage point of performance. More efficient, smarter, more productive, all at once. Let's talk about speed. Not travel speed. Excavators don't race. The speed that matters in mining is something else entirely. How many passes does it take to fill a truck? Mining trucks, the 300, 400, 500-ton beasts that carry material to processing, are the logistical heart of any mine. And a truck sitting idle waiting to be loaded is money evaporating into thin air. The CAT 6040 was engineered to solve this with surgical brutality. In real operations, it can fill some of the world's largest mining trucks in just a handful of passes, where conventional machines needed 6, 7, 8 full cycles. The 6040 does the same job in a fraction of the time. What does that mean in practice? More cycles per hour, more tons moved per shift, more trucks loaded, more runs completed, more material processed. An operation that used to process X tons per day can now process 1.3x. With the same truck fleet, the same crew, the same fixed costs. That's not a marginal improvement. That is operational transformation. And mining companies that have adopted the 6040 into their fleets report exactly this. Not a performance boost. A change in level entirely. What used to be a target becomes the baseline. What was exceptional becomes routine. But Caterpillar wasn't finished yet, because building a powerful, intelligent machine wasn't enough. It had to last 60,000 hours. That is a number that shifts the entire conversation when it comes to the CAT 6040's projected service life. 60,000 hours of operation. Let's translate that into something concrete. If you operated this machine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, without stopping, without rest, it would last nearly 7 years. 7 years of nonstop operation. In real-world mining, with proper maintenance and within operational specs, that translates to decades of productive life. Caterpillar didn't reach that number by accident. Every single component of the 6040 was engineered with longevity as a primary design variable. The hydraulic seals, the parts most subject to wear in any system like this, were developed with materials and geometries that withstand extreme pressures far longer than anything the competition offers. The structural joints, the points where force concentrates and metal suffers most, were calculated to distribute stress so that were as minimal and uniform. The hydraulic lines, the veins through which the machine's power flows, were shielded against abrasion, temperature, and constant vibration. And the electronic monitoring system doesn't just warn you when something is about to fail. It warns you when where patterns indicate something could fail, weeks before any visible problem appears. Predictive maintenance, not corrective, not generic preventive. Predictive. That eliminates unplanned downtime. And in mining, unplanned downtime isn't just an inconvenience. It's millions in losses. The 6040 was built to never stop. There's a moment when you see this machine working in a real operation, not on video, not in a photo, but in person, standing hundreds of meters away, something happens in your brain. It simply cannot process the scale. The bucket swings. The ground shakes. Hundreds of tons of earth and rock move as if they weigh nothing. And you realize you're looking at something that goes beyond engineering. This is humanity pushing against the limits of what is physically possible. The CAT 6040 didn't come from a single brilliant idea. It came from decades of accumulated knowledge, from failures analyzed, from solutions refined, from engineers who fell asleep thinking about hydraulics and woke up thinking about durability. It represents something that goes beyond the product itself. It represents a refusal to accept that there is a ceiling to what a machine can be. And when you bring together brilliant minds, advanced technology, industrial ambition, and the resources to execute, the result isn't just a better product. It's a milestone. It's a moment in history where you can point and say, Before this and after this, the Cat 6040 is one of those moments. The Caterpillar 6040 is not a machine. It is a statement. A statement that says, we do not accept limits. We do not settle for good enough. We build titans. And as mining operations around the world dig deeper, extract harder, and demand more from their equipment, machines like the 6040 will be the reason they succeed. So here's the question for you. What is the most impressive feature of the Cat 6040 to you? The 4,000 plus horsepower? The intelligent technology that predicts failures before they happen? The 60,000 hour projected service life? Or something you discovered in this video that you didn't expect to find? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to keep watching machines, engineering, and technology that are literally reshaping the world, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell, because we are just getting started.